God blessed me with 3 amazing kids, Carly, Mason, and Ava. And September 13th, 2024, almost 9 months ago, God called Mason home. And it's something that I never thought that would happen to my family. You hear it all the time. And you read the stories and you hear it and your heart breaks. But you never think that you're going to walk through that. So Friday night, me and Carlo and Ava were at home, about to sit down at dinner, and we get a text on our phone that from Life 360 that there was possibly a crash detected from Mason. And worst feeling ever. 5 minutes later, I get a phone call from his friend's mom, and said Mason had been in an accident, and that it was bad. And so we just frantically started getting ready, and we know about where he was driving to go do what he loves, which is hunting. The police officer said for us not to go out there, that they were more than likely going to be helicoptering him to the Baton Rouge Hospital. So we go to the lake, and we wait for literally hours. And at this point, I've asked everybody that I know to pray. He gets to the hospital, immediately goes into surgery, and then we get those devastating words that he'll make it. 5 weeks before that, I was doing a Bible study at my house, and I was starting a study on Revelation. And I remember sitting at my island, and I remember praying before the study was going to start. And I remember praying to God to use me in the study, to use me in these women's lives. And I remember saying, like, God, I surrender my life to you. Like, use me and do what you want with me. And then 5 weeks later, this happened. Like, from the beginning, I always knew that I had to do Mason's eulogy, which goes against everything that, like, is me. Like, I do not like speaking. The fact that I'm even on this camera is a big deal, but I don't like speaking in front of people. I don't do well with it. I'm a very anxious person. But I just knew, good God, literally, I think you literally put it on my heart that you have to speak. I kept feeling like no one else knows Mason more than I do. And like, I knew that I had to do his eulogy. And that day I just remember feeling so much peace at the funeral. I remember when I think back at the funeral, I think about how beautiful it was. And I think back about how much love, you could literally feel the love in the room. But I had such a peace talking about him. And I just wanted people to know that you don't get through something like this without having a relationship with God. Like, I say that all the time. I can't imagine people that don't know God or don't have a relationship with him. How do you bury your child? Where is your hope? And I know that God used me that day, on that platform in front of hundreds of people. Like, I know that he used me. A few days after the funeral, I had been not left alone at all for the first few days after the funeral. And it was the first morning. Ava had gone back to school and Carlo back to work, and I had visitors that had flown back. So by myself, I had about 30 minutes before a friend was coming to visit with me. And I had Mason's backpack that we had gotten from his truck. And I always knew that I wanted to go through his backpack. And so I sit down and I go through his backpack, and I'm looking at all of his papers, and I'm looking at his handwriting and seeing what he was learning. And as I'm closing the last binder, it's this binder. So I'm closing the last binder, and as I'm closing it, in the margin, I see this verse. And so it kind of shocked me, and I was done. I was closing it, and I look, and it's Philippians 4:5-6. And so I immediately grab my phone and I go to my Bible app and I look it up. And it says, "Let your gentleness be evident to all." And I remember just stopping and just crying. So I'm like, it's Mason. Like, Mason was just such a gentle, loving child. And it says, "The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." And I just remember reading that, and I was just sobbing. And I was like, I needed to read this today. You know, and then I was just like, why was this in here? Like, why was this verse in there? You know, I had all the questions, and but I know that I needed that verse that day. And later, if you continue, his was 4:5-6, but verse 7 says, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." And I can't tell you how many times I have gotten a card in the mail, a text message, just all the things in the past 9 months. There are people that comments and says, like, "I hope God gives you peace that surpasses all understanding." And I had never really knew what that verse really meant. You hear it a lot, but I am now living this verse. Like, I am living it. And because it doesn't make any sense that I'm okay. Like, it doesn't make sense that I'm able to still do the things that I do every day. I wake up every morning and I still do my normal routines, and I'm still living my life. And sometimes I'm like, I feel like I should be worse. I feel like I should not be able to get out of bed. And before the accident happened, I had really, I think when you have kids, you always are so worried that something's going to happen to them. And I've been in the car before where I'm driving and I think about if something happens to something bad were to happen to one of my kids. And it just gives me all the anxious thoughts. And there was times where I've literally cried thinking about something bad happening to my kids. I'm like, I would never survive that. Like, there's no way that I could live without one of my kids in this world. And so that human side of us, that's how I feel like I should be. And then it happened. But I'm not depressed and in bed. I'm not giving up on life. I'm not giving up on my marriage or giving up on my other 2 girls that are here. And that only comes from God. Like, there is no other explanation. There's nothing else that makes sense. That it's God, 6 weeks later, I went to a retreat at the Hill, and it's a Christian women's retreat. It was a weekend retreat, and it focuses on mostly on loss. And I went there so broken and scared, and I cried the whole way there. But I got there, and on the second day, one of the things that they do is you have this spa time where you go up to the 3rd story and you have this facial, and it's just a relaxation time. And so I remember we had a session and that morning, and I was sitting on the front porch in the rocking chair in my quiet time, and about to go up to my spa time. And I remember praying to God, and I remember saying, "God, can you just give me a sign? Can you just let me know that Mason's good? Like, he's good and he's happy and he's with you, and can you just give me a sign?" And then right after that, I go up to the spa, and I'm laying there, and there's other women in there that have been through hard things, and but I'm laying there, and they're playing music, and after one of the songs, one of the girls working there, she turned off the music and she said, "I just want to read a verse to y'all." And she read Philippians 4:5-6. And I remember her, and I was just like, out of all the verses that she could read, she read Philippians 4:5-6, But I remember I remember laying there, and she's saying, I just picture us with our hands up to the sky, and we're giving our anxieties, and we're giving our pain and our worries, and we're giving all the things to God. And he takes them from us, and in return, he gives us peace, and we put it, in our hearts. And I'm just picturing, this upward motion of us giving this to God, and in return, him, us taking something back, and that's peace. And it was just a sobbing mess, So throughout this, I have learned that the anxiety and the stress and the pain and all the negativity that is coming from Satan, because he doesn't want me to believe that God is still good in this tragedy. I think that he gets in our minds and he tells us all these things, that we failed and that we did this wrong and we should have did this better, and but that's all lies. And the opposite of that is God, and he gives us peace, and he gives peace that surpasses all understanding, that doesn't make sense. I know where Mason is. I know that I'll see him again. I know that I'll be with him again. And it's just planting myself in what is true has helped me so much. And it helps bring me peace whenever I'm having a really bad day and I'm struggling or just really missing Mason. I go to the Word. When I feel close to God, I feel really close to Mason. And there's been so many times where I'm just so sad and I'm crying at home, and I'm like, I need to read something about God. It could be anything, but I need to read something. If you ask me if there are any scriptures that have given me peace through this, there's actually two that's given me lots of peace. The first one is Job. It's Job 14:5. It says, "A person's days are determined. You have decreed the number of his months and have set limits he cannot succeed." And the other one is Psalms 139:16. And it says, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." And those two verses have given me so much peace, because God knew Mason was only going to live until he was 17. I know that God didn't make the wreck happen, but God knew that he was only going to live for 17 years. And it still hurts. It doesn't make it easy. But I tell people often that we can't pick and choose what we believe and don't believe in the Bible. We either believe it all or we don't believe any of it. And if these two verses say that God knew that Mason was only going to live until he was 17, I have to believe in that, and I have to trust in that, and I have to believe that God had a plan for his life. And I believe that God is using Mason's accident and using me to bring so many people to know him. And from the very beginning of that Friday night when I heard the news, I just kept saying over and over, God had to do this for a reason. Like, God has to have a purpose. Like, this kid, he wouldn't have taken Mason for no reason. Like, God has to have a purpose in this. And I believe that. I believe God has used me through this tragedy in a lot of different ways. I think that, when something like this happens, people look at you, right? And they watch you, and they see how you respond. And, I've had people come up to me and they say, how are you okay? Like, how are you still able to do the things that you're able to do, And again, it goes with the piece that makes no sense. My thoughts on heaven have changed so much. Now having a child in heaven. I actually just did a Bible study on heaven. And one of the things that they say in there a lot in the study is that earth is short and heaven is long. And I think about that all the time. As much as I feel like I have so long until I'll see Mason again, I just keep focusing on earth is short and heaven is long. And even when Ava gets sad and she's crying and she's struggling missing her brother, we talk about heaven, and we talk about how we're going to get to be with him forever one day. Like, we'll never have to say goodbye to him again. And we're going to we imagine all the beautiful things that we're going to see in heaven, and being with God and all of our loved ones and the angels and the beautiful colors. And I think about heaven daily. I think about heaven daily now, because of my view on heaven now. Living on this earth changes so much, because now I know this isn't my home. You know, there's a verse in the Bible that says that we're in temporary tents, and this isn't my home. And I now know that, like, I feel like I'm on this mission to let people know about God, and that there's so much more coming that's waiting for us than here on this earth. And then I picture Mason in heaven, and all the times I'm able to talk to someone and bringing someone closer to their faith. I picture Mason in heaven being like, "Yes, Mom." Like, yes. And I think about the day that I'm going to see him again. And I picture me next to Jesus, and I picture Jesus grabbing my face, and he says, "Good job, daughter. Good job." And then I turn around and I see Mason, and he hugs me. That's why I'm trying to do what I'm doing.